and the health and the associated economic woes brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. I speak for Papua New Guinea, of course, but the issues will no doubt resonate with the small island states, including those of my Pacific brothers and sisters. I also believe, Mr. President, that you too will have some appreciation on what these issues are, because you come from a small island state yourself. Our ocean homes and our way of life is intertwined with the coastal ecosystem in its natural equilibrium. This equilibrium is now affected by human influence, and for us small island states, not in our making. But we are the first victims and the most affected because of our inherent vulnerabilities. Mr. President, as we convene and continue to speak on climate change in the ambiences of our 21st century, post-halls like this August United Nations Assembly, may I remind us all that little children and their families who are living in the seas of earth are living in fear and uncertainty of what their future will be like. This is because in their lifetime they have seen their arable and safe lands lost due to sea level rise, and are watching as the structures that their lives are built upon slips away. It is time the big carbon emitters of planet Earth own up and apologize to small island states and all other victims of climate change. And I make this statement with no apologies. And today I make a call for all of us, and especially to the big carbon-emitting nations who are now enjoying their national economic transformations through industrialization, to pause, think, and take responsibility to save our planet. I am comforted by the recent commitment by President Joe Biden and Prime Minister Boris Johnson on the respective nations' intention to respond better to tackling climate change issues. Mr. President, I also hear of China's positive response and note that it is good we are now uniting to save our planet. We have a collective responsibility to take actions to save Earth. Mr. President, when astronaut Neil Armstrong walked on Moon on July 20, 1969, he would have looked back to the direction where he came from. And I assume that he would not have seen his beloved home state, the United States of America. He would have seen his home planet, planet Earth. It is the survival of Earth that we must now take action. I want to make this statement: enough of talk. We have to take actions commensurate to the volume of emissions from our industries. Leaders of the big carbon-emitting nations must now lead the global effort in rebalancing the environmental equilibrium. It is a hard ask, but really a necessary call for leadership and champions. I point to all nations on earth to embrace the unity of humanity to save our planet, because what happens in Africa will and does affect Europe. Whatever happens in Asia will affect America, and whatever happens in Middle East will affect those of us in the Pacific, and vice versa. We live in one planet, one atmospheric envelope, one interlinked environmental ecosystem. Hence, as one humanity, we must rise and unite to preserve our one planet, our home. Not to do so is foolishness, and we are doing so at the peril of our children and their children, if, of course, Jesus Christ doesn't come back soon. Mr. President, Papua New Guinea recognizes the need to save Earth, and we too are contributing and will contribute to preserve our Earth. God has blessed Papua New Guinea with about 13% of world's tropical rainforest and 6% of its biodiversity. These global assets we want to preserve. One lesson I have learned from the COVID-19 experience is that oxygen is number one human need. With less oxygen, and COVID-19 has shown us that, an individual suffocates and dies. Well, you ask this question, who produced the oxygen for Mother Earth? The trees, of course. If the world's rainforest reservoir were a global lung, we in Papua New Guinea have a significant proportion of this organ that keeps the world breathing. We also function